Cricket Diary with RJ Yuvi. Only on Radio City.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Yuvi's Cricket Diary, and with me is this fast bowler from the West Indies. Phil, welcome to Yuvi's Cricket Diary. How are you?
I am fine, thanks. How are you?
You've been visiting India quite a lot. What's the best thing that you like about the country?
How passionate the fans are. You know, the fans are always supporting cricket, and don't care what type of cricket you're playing, they're always full stadiums.
How has life been post-retirement, if I could ask that?
Life been great. You know, I've been enjoying. Well, I would say I've been enjoying cricket a lot more now. I kind of semi-retired because I'm still playing, but I've been enjoying cricket a lot more. You know, spending more time around my family. You know, and getting to understand more about cricket.
What's the difference between when you actively play for your country, when the pressure is much more, and then when you retire and you're across the world, you're playing in different leagues for that matter?
Well, for me, playing for my country, I always felt like you had to perform, and there's always big expectations of you. Right now is like guys will tell you, well, just go there, do your best. You know, they're expecting you to dive around or probably try to break an arm or a leg or something. You know, they just want you to just go there, do your best, and entertain the crowd.
You've been a part of a World Cup winning squad in 2012. You know, when the West Indies won the World Cup. Do you remember any fond memories from that World Cup?
Yeah, you know, I was actually just sitting there with my friends talking about that. And then even before we won that World Cup, we had a camp in the Caribbean. So a couple we were sitting there and we was like, we're going to win this World Cup.
Already? You knew that? Was it an intuition or a gut feeling, or what was it?
Yeah, it was. We had a good feeling in the camp. You know, we had guys like Chris Bravo, you know, Pollard, all these guys was there, and these guys were really keen on, you know, doing well. So when we was in the camp, we said we got to, you know, make sure we come out and we give it our best, and everything started to go from there. I remember the first game we played against Australia, and we lost.
Yep.
You know, that was kind of, that hit us pretty hard. But then we came back from that pretty strongly.
Phil, I read there something about you, that you were spotted by Bran Lara and you had only played one single match before that, and you were picked for the West Indies team. What were you doing when you got a call from the West Indies cricket board that you're now picked for the Australian tour, if I'm not wrong?
No, it was against Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, yeah.
Actually, I was sleeping actually. I can remember that day I was home. So yeah, and I got a call from Brian himself. He called me and said, this is Brian Lara. I said, Brian who? He was like, this is Brian Lara, West Indies captain. I said, okay. So he was like, I just like to inform you that we select you to represent us in the next game. I was like, okay. And that's all I said. So it was like, so he told me not to like tell anyone yet, because nothing was announced as yet. So I was like, okay. That's all I said to him.
I thought you would be jumping with joy.
Like I thought it was a joke. I actually thought it was a joke because I was sleeping. So like when I got I sat on the bed, was like, Brian just called me. And then I remember I walking through the house. Then I started to scream. So I ended up now calling my brother Pedro. He was also playing for West Indies at the time. I called my other friend Corey Collymore. So he was like, yeah, he knew something would have happened.
Right.
So then I ended up telling my mom, and then she didn't even believe it. So she was like, start joking. I said yes. So then I told my sister, and then everyone was happy. Then the news started to get around. Then I was hearing like, and I remember in the papers there was a big write up, Fidel who.
Fidel who?
Yeah, that was the big write up, Fidel who. And from there, it was just history.
How does it feel like when you've just played one match? Do you think that it was unexpected, a pleasant surprise, too early maybe? You know, one match old, and the captain of the West Indies calls you, and the legend himself.
It was actually, yes, it was one match, but I've met Brian more than once because I was in the academy at that time too. They were in New Zealand, had toured the Caribbean. So I was in the academy at that time, and I remember I practiced against New Zealand as well. Then I practiced with the West Indies as well. But I was voted the best fast bowler in the academy. So from there, it wasn't like not just playing one game and not being spotted. It was like I still had a lead up to it. So then after that, after the academy and I came back home, I played a club game when I took 14 or 15 wickets in the club game. So my coach now he told me that they had someone watching me at that time, but I didn't know. So after that, probably a week or no after that the West Indies came to Barbados. I was called to practice with West Indies, and then it took off from there.
Did you break some bones in the West Indies nets?
No, actually, like my first netting with the West Indies team, like I remember bowling against Chris Gale, and Chris Gale smacked me all over the ground.
He smacked you.
All over the ground. I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this. I was like, I started to get scared, and I was like, I'm not ready for this. Then I bowled at Ganga, during Ganga, so yeah, I bowled a couple of short balls at him, and I started to feel a little comfortable. So that day, the selectors didn't really come to practice that day. So luckily for me, they didn't come. Cause like after Chris Gale smacked me all over, I was not going to get picked. But Brian had his bets on me, so I was selected for the team. First game, first over I bowled actually. My first ball, it got dropped by Omari Banks at mid wicket. My first ball, but then that helped settle me, and I just went on from there.
When you look back at your career now, since 2003, that's when you've been representing. What's that one moment that you want to steal and keep it with yourself for your life? A West Indian moment that you've played.
I would say actually watching Brian score 400 runs. Yes, in the test series where I think we lost that test series against England, but we still wanted to finish well, and that game was in Antigua. And watching Brian bat and how he batted, like that was amazing to watch.
What was special about that day or that innings or that test match from man?
Just the way how Brian went about things, is like he wanted to do something special, and just watching him bat and how the guys went about that game too is like, although we lost the series, we still wanted to do well. So the guys was up for it, and I think we were down 2-0 or something, and we ended up drawing that test match. And Brian scored 400, and being a part of something record breaking was fun and good.
Off the field, where did you get the name Castro from?
I just stuck on me from the time I was a kid, I've been named Fidel, they have Fidel Castro, so that just was put on
The
me.
teammates call you Castro?
Yeah, only person that called me different was Shiv. He used to call me FedEx.
FedEx? That's also speed.
Yeah.
Superb. Thank you so much, Phil. Wish you... Okay, one final question. I have to ask you this. How many bones have you broken in the nets or on the ground? Do you have a count?
I never counted, I actually broken a couple of bones. I hit a couple of guys putting their hands and broke a couple of fingers and so on. Hit a couple of heads as well,
You remember any one of them?
It was one Tarp. I remember playing against him in England. Like, I remember hitting him on the helmet. The helmet actually just shackled out.
Yeah.
Screws flew all over. Then I hit him on the arm, broke his finger, and he was like bandaged it. He came back out. Still scored 100.
Are fast bowlers same lethal off the ground also, or they're soft?
I would believe most of them are soft. Yeah, like talking to Brett and anything, you would see a different person off the field. Like even with Tino, you see a different person off the field, but on the field, guys transform.
Right. Who's been your idol, if I may say, someone you followed all your while?
I actually my brother I've been always a big fan of my brother, Corey Collymore. I've always watched Bradley too. Like I always love to see Bradley bowl. So these guys was big on me, and even like watching Ambrose and Courtney Walsh, like I always watch these two guys.
What is with West Indies and Pakistan that they have the best fast bowlers?
I guess they're hungry for it. I guess they're hungry, just like running the bowling fast.
Super. We wish that you have more hunger left, and in the Legends or all the leagues that you play across the world, you get to have more wickets, but you break less bones. That's for sure. Thank you so much, Phil.
Cheers,
Thank you.
thanks.
Cheers.
Cricket Diary with RJ Yuvi. Only on Radio City.